Okay, hello everyone. Ang lecture natin ngayon tungkol sa Psikolohiyang Pilipino. Pag-uusapan natin yung tinatawag na transcendental kapwa. Yan. Actually, itong topic na to naisip ko, pwede rin sa social psych, pwede pa nga rin to sa positive psych eh. Pero iniisip ko, dahil connected to sa previous lecture ko sa Psikolohiyang Pilipino which was on malasakit, ilagay ko na lang dito. Bible verse natin for the day, Genesis 1:27. So God created man in His own image. In the image of God, He created him. Male and female, He created them. As always, as I go along this lecture, makikita ninyo kung anong connect niyan sa topic natin for today. Ngayon, sa lecture na to, simple lang yung goal ko. Gusto kong ituro paano pataasin ang malasakit or in English, empathy sa atin. Paano ba tayo magiging mas may malasakit sa ibang tao? Paano magkaroon ng higher empathy towards other people? And speaking of malasakit and empathy, ito yung previous lecture ko sa Filipino psychology. So I highly recommend after nyong panoorin to, you go back to this lecture and then panoorin nyo. Marami akong mga ideas na shinare dito in connection to the concept of malasakit. Now, for those of you who missed this, magkaroon lang tayo ng basic information about malasakit, no? Anong ibig sabihin ng malasakit? This is the desire and action of doing good things for the benefit of another person. So, dapat dalawa, no? Desire and action. Hindi pwedeng desire lang, naramdaman mo lang na gusto mong magmalasakit. Dapat may follow through. Gagawin mong behavioral yung desire. And what is that behavior that you do? You give help to improve the life of another person. So, nagbibigay ka ng comfort sa mga taong naghihirap or nagsasuffer. So, meron kang best friend na broken-hearted, emotionally nadadown siya, so you took time. Binigyan mo siya ng oras para i-counsel, para kausapin, para makapagbigay ka sa kanya ng comfort. Makikinig ka sa emotions niya para mabawas-bawasan naman yung sakit na nararamdaman niya. It's a form of malasakit. Or, another simple way of showing malasakit is charity. Kapag meron kang kapitbahay na lubog sa utang at dahil doon nagsasuffer siya, everyday wala siyang makain, hindi niya mabili mga kailangan niya, tapos binigyan mo siya ng konting pera para makatulong, para pangkain niya for the day, it's a form of malasakit. At dapat, sabi dito sa slide, no, ang malasakit must be intrinsic in nature. Ibig sabihin, kaya ka nagmamalasakit kasi gusto mong magmalasakit, masaya kang nagmamalasakit. Hindi pwede yung nagbibigay ka ng pera sa mga mahihirap para iboto ka during the elections. Or nagbibigay ka ng comfort sa isang taong nagsasuffer kasi gusto mo in the future, pag may pabor kang hiningi sa kanya, hindi kanya matatanggihan. Mali yun. Kapag gano'n yung intention mo in doing good things to others, hindi pagmamalasakit ang tawag doon. Parang ang tawag doon, ginagamit mo lang yung ibang tao, lume-leverage ka lang. So, malasakit must be intrinsic in nature. Talagang gusto mong tumutulong sa ibang tao, masaya kang tumutulong sa iba. Okay? Ngayon, in the Bible, marami mga passages na nagtuturo na dapat meron tayong malasakit sa ibang tao. And in fact, i-zoom in mo pa yung konsepto ng malasakit in the Bible, iba-iba pa palang mga degrees yan. Merong mahinang malasakit, papuntang pinakamalakas na malasakit. Like for example, yung love your neighbor as you love yourself. It is a simple expression of malasakit. Pero i-magnify mo yan 50 times, 100 times, the ultimate expression of malasakit is yung sinabi ni Kristo. Yung sa John 15:13, na kaya mo nang ibigay yung buhay mo to benefit another person, yan yung ultimate expression of malasakit. And of course, in the context of the Bible, sino ang gumawa niyan? Jesus through the crucifixion. So we can say na one of the reasons kaya si Kristo namatay sa krus for us, nagpakita siya ng kakaibang level ng malasakit para sa mga tao. Okay, now i-translate mo to in our everyday life. Some expressions of malasakit, ayan, nagpapakain ka ng mga batang gutom. Or for example, in sports, kahit kalaban mo, kapag yung kalaban mo napilayan, tutulungan mo ka pa rin kasi nagmamalasakit ka sa kanya bilang tao. O ito, mas malakas na expressions of malasakit. Yan. Yung pagiging parents. Grabe ang malasakit ng parents papunta sa mga anak. Sabi nga ng quotable quote dito, why don't I put myself first as a parent? Simple. I have kids. They need me. They will always come first. I would give my last breath if it meant them getting one more. Oh, yan talaga yung ultimate expression of malasakit. And of course, nakikita nyo dito sa screen, no, yung picture ni Jack and Rose in the movie Titanic. If you saw this scene, yan talaga yung ultimate expression of malasakit. Hindi na baling ako ang mamatay, mabuhay ka lang. 'Di ba? Nangyari 'yon dito sa eksenang 'to, no? So si Jack yung namatay sa lamig, si Rose yung naligtas. And Jack was willing to do that for Rose. Okay? So again, yung mga expressions of malasakit, yan 'yon. Yung malakas na expression of malasakit according to John 15:13. Kaya mo nang ibigay yung buhay mo para sa ibang tao. And then, in connection to malasakit, no, kung i-connect mo yan doon sa relationship triangle ni Enriquez, ang sinasabi ng triangle niya is, mas lumalalim yung relationship mo with another person, mas nagiging malakas yung expression mo ng malasakit for that person. So, iba yung malasakit mo sa ibang tao, yung hindi mo kamag-anak, iba rin yung malasakit mo sa mga taong sobrang kakilala mo or sobrang kaklose mo, like asawa mo, parents mo, or family in general. So again, ang point dito is the degree of malasakit that you share or that you give to another person depends on gaano na makalalim yung relationship mo with that person. Mas malalim na yung pinagsamahan ninyo, mas malakas ang malasakit na kaya mong ipakita. So gagawa na lang natin ng ibang lecture yan, no, as we go along. Okay? Now, in the lecture, in my previous lecture on malasakit, sinabi ko rin doon na maganda na nag-e-express ng malasakit. It's a good thing. The more you express malasakit to other people, maraming bagay na magagandang nangyayari, like in the personal and in the societal level. In the personal level, gumaganda ang mental health. As mentioned in the book of Isaiah, anong sinabi dyan? Kapag nagpakain ka ng mga gutom, tumulong ka sa mga taong nangangailangan, nagiging maganda yung estado ng psyche mo. Nagiging maliwanag, nagiging magaan. You move away from darkness papunta sa liwanag. So in psychological language, you can relate this to emotions, and we have studies on that. Na ang mga taong mahilig tumulong sa mga taong nangangailangan, less likely silang nadidepress. Mas maganda yung kanilang overall mental health. In the societal level, bilang mga Pilipino, kung tinaasan natin yung pagmamalasakit natin sa isa't isa, sinabi ko dito sa lecture, marami tayong mga societal problems na mababawasan. Mababawasan yung traffic, mababawasan yung mga corrupt sa government, mababawasan yung patayan between groups of people. So the very reason kung bakit nangyayari yung mga negative events na yan, sinabi ko to sa lecture dito, no, kasi nga mababa yung level of malasakit. So ang solusyon dyan is, as a collective society, pataasin natin yung level of malasakit natin. Diba? So, in contrast, in connection to this, no, yan kasi yung pinanggagalingan ng marami nating problems, both again, in the personal and societal level, kapag mababa yung level ng malasakit natin. Kapag yung framework natin sa buhay is wala akong pakialam, akala natin okay yan. Kasi yan yung pinopromote ng popular psychology. Huwag mo nang isipin yung iniisip ng iba. Ang mahalaga, masaya ka. Ang mahalaga, gawin mo yung gusto mo, ipakita mo kung sino ka. Yan. And in so doing, hindi pala maganda yan sa mental health. Hindi pala maganda yan sa societal situation. Kaya siguro marami mga masasamang nangyayari sa buhay ng isang tao kasi ganito yung framework niya. Wala siyang pakialam sa ibang tao, mababa yung level of malasakit niya, nagkakagulo-gulo lahat. Diba? Ito yung mga examples na binigay ko in that lecture, no? Kaya mo naloloko yung asawa mo, kaya tayo nagkaka-traffic, kaya marami mga tao sa gobyerno corrupt. Bakit? Mga walang pakialam sa ibang tao. Mababa ang level of malasakit. So ulitin ko, para hindi mangyari yan, or mabawas-bawasin yung mga ganyang events, ang solusyon dyan, pataasin yung level of malasakit towards other people. Ang tanong ngayon, paano? Yan na. Paano dapat natin o paano ba natin i-increase yung level ng malasakit natin towards other people? How do you move from walang pakialam papuntang love your neighbor as you love yourself, papuntang kaya mo nang ibigay yung buhay mo para sa ibang tao? Right? So yun yung magiging target ng lecture natin for today. O, sagutin ko na diretsahan. Paano mo i-increase yung ability mo na magmalasakit sa ibang tao? It starts on how you look at people. Sa Tagalog, paano mo tignan ang isang tao? One of the most important questions in connection to empathy is, ano ang definition mo sa tao? What is a human being? That will determine your overall empathy or malasakit towards other people. And the best answer to this question na talagang magpapa-increase ng level of malasakit mo para sa ibang tao is dapat tinitignan mo yung tao as a God imager. Yan yung tinatawag nating transcendental kapwa. Bakit transcendental? From the term transcendence. Because the way you look at other people is based on how a transcendental being looks at other people, and that is God. Nagigets nyo? Yung pananaw mo sa mga tao sa paligid mo, hindi siya worldly. Ina-apply mo yung pananaw ng Diyos, yung paningin ng Diyos sa ibang tao. Kaya siya tinawag na transcendental kapwa. Later on, I will explain anong pinagkaiba ng transcendental kapwa sa worldly kapwa. Iba kasi yung katuruan ng mundo kung paano mo dapat tignan yung ibang tao. Okay? Mamaya i-compare and contrast natin yon. But for the meantime, ito lang muna intindihin natin kung paano mo tignan yung ibang tao, dapat kapareho mo ng pananaw yung Diyos na gumawa sa tao in the first place. And what is that? How does God look at human beings? He created them in His own image. Kaya ito yung opening verse natin. Okay? So paano mo dapat tignan yung ibang tao sa paligid mo na magpapataas ng malasakit mo sa kanila? You have to see them as God imagers. Dapat nakikita mo na sa pananaw mo, they have a little bit or they resemble God. Take note, hindi ko sinasabing Diyos lahat ng tao, no? Hindi totoo yun. Ang sinasabi ko dito, lahat ng tao, because it's created in the image of God, you can see resemblance of God to those people. At kapag dyan ka nagsimula, yung logic mo about other people magiging very simple na magpapataas ng malasakit mo sa kanila. Simpleng logic lang yan, i-zoom in natin. Kapag ganyan ang pananaw mo sa ibang tao, God must be treated with love and respect. Wala namang mag-deny dyan. Because He's the ultimate being, right? Everyone bears the resemblance of God. Tama rin naman yan. Diba? According to Genesis 1:27. Therefore, anong conclusion mo? Everyone must be treated with love and respect. Very simple logic. If that's the way you see other people, everyone is God imager. Automatic na yan. Lahat ng tao sa paligid mo, anong gagawin mo? You are going to treat them with love and respect. Kung baga, to use a simple analogy, no, lahat ng tao sa paligid mo, itatrato mo as a very valuable vase. Yung nakikita nyo dito sa picture, isa raw to sa pinakamahal na vase sa buong mundo. How do you treat vases that are so expensive, that are so rare, na mataas ang value? With careful respect. Diba? Ayaw mong mababasag yan, sobrang ingat mo i-handle yan. The same thing with your fellow human beings. Yan yung tamang treatment dapat sa ibang tao. You treat them with love and respect. Pero paano mo nga ipoprogram yung sarili mo na lahat ng tao sa paligid mo, you treat with love and respect when you see resemblance of God in each of the people that you see in your life? Nagigets nyo? Yun yung ibig sabihin ng transcendental kapwa. Bumabalik ka lagi sa Genesis 1:27. That everyone is created in the image of God. So ito ngayon yung framework natin. We start with Genesis 1:27. Ano ang effect niyan? Psychologically, patataasin yan yung malasakit natin sa ibang tao. The more you see other people in the image of God, created by God, may resemblance of God, ano nangyayari? Tumataas yung malasakit, nagiging mas maayos yung trato natin sa ibang tao. Diba? In a way, parang you see other people as sacred creatures, different from animals. And anything that we consider sacred, we treat with love and respect. Nature natin yung mga tao. Kapag nasense mo ng isang bagay o ang isang tao, sacred, sagrado, mas nagiging maayos yung trato mo to those people. And we have supports for that. Hindi ko lang gawa-gawa to, no? Marami tayong mga scientific studies in the field of psychology that shows na kapag sagrado ang tingin mo sa ibang tao, the more you treat them with love and respect, as a result, gumaganda yung relationship mo with those people. Ito, maganda. Yung report ng APA mismo. Nag-present sila ng mga series of journal articles na ang common denominator is, ito yung pinapakita. Religion or spirituality has positive impact on romantic/marital relationships, child development, research shows. Overall, gumaganda yung connection natin with other people, gumaganda yung trato natin sa kanila kapag dinadaan natin yung perception natin sa kanila via religion or spirituality. For example, in one article, i-resize natin para makita nyo, no? You can just Google Scholar this, download, and then you read it on your own. Compassionate love as a mechanism linking sacred qualities of marriage to older couples' marital satisfaction. In this study, simple lang ang nakita nila. Among older couples, let me read, age 71, average, the perceived sanctity. Ibig sabihin, the more they see their partners as holy, God's gift to them. Yun yung perceived sanctity of their long-term unions predicted both husbands and wives' marital satisfaction. When wives reported that they viewed their marriage as suffused with sacred qualities, nakikita niya na sacred yung karelasyon niya, this tended to predict that both spouses would say they were more satisfied. So, ang tingin nila sa isa't isa, sacred, created in the image of God, God's gift to them, mas nagiging maayos yung trato nila sa isa't isa, kaya sila nagtatagal in their relationship. In another article, maganda rin to. Google Scholar nyo na lang. Sanctification of Marriage and Spiritual Intimacy, Predicting Observed Marital Interactions Across the Transition to Parenthood. Ang haba ng title, pero ang ibig sabihin lang yan, in this study, ito yung nakita nila. The more spiritual intimacy couples say they share, the better they handle their topics of conflicts. Mas nagiging maayos yung pag-handle nila sa mga away nila. At kailan nangyayari yan? Bakit maayos yung pag-handle nila ng conflicts nila? Because they view their marriage as sacred. They can see God's image in each other, and that way of looking at each other, yun yung nagpapaayos sa kanila sa pag-handle ng mga away nila. Nagigets nyo? So, yun yung common denominator nung article na yan at yung article na to. The more that you see the resemblance of God in your partner, therefore, you treat them with love and respect. You see them as sacred. Mas gumaganda yung connection mo with other people. No? Tumataas yung level ng malasakit ninyo sa isa't isa, which lengthens and strengthens your relationship. Kaya in connection to these journal articles, no, naalala ko yung sa Matthew chapter 25 verses 34 to 40, isa to sa mga parables ni Jesus. 'Di ba? If you remember the parable, meron ditong mga grupo ng mga tao na blines ni God when He came. 'Di ba? Ano to parang ito yung future na mangyayari, no, during Judgment Day. So, there were a group of people who were blessed by the Father. Ang tanong, bakit? Bakit sila blines ng Diyos? From verse 35 hanggang verse 36, anong mapapansin nyo dito? Ito yung nagmalasakit sila sa iba. Kaya sila blines ng Diyos kasi nagpakita sila ng malasakit towards other people. And then, nung narinig ng mga tao to, tinanong nila yung Diyos, kailan sila nagmalasakit? Kaya they ask when. Parang hindi naman nila nakita na, hindi na nila maalala na nagmalasakit sila kay God mismo. Kasi dito sinasabi, kaya ko kayo binibless, sabi ni God, because nagmalasakit kayo sa akin. Yan, kaya nga yung pronoun na ginamit dito is me. You know, and me here is being used by God. So yung mga tao dito nalito kasi nung nasa mundo sila, hindi naman nila maalala na pinagmalasakitan nila yung Diyos. So they ask, when? When did you came to earth at pinagmalasakitan namin ikaw? Ano ang sagot ng Diyos sa kanila? Well, the king replies, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." Kung ano ang ginawa nyo sa ibang tao na nagsasuffer, na naghihirap, kung paano nyo na silang tinulungan, para nyo na rin akong tinulungan. Nagigets ninyo? I hope you see, given this statement in verse 40, you see the resemblance of this to Genesis 1:27. Dahil ang mga tao ginawa sa image of God, lahat ng gawin mo sa kapwa mo tao, in a way, para mo na rin ginawa sa Diyos. Because humans and God are fellow imagers. We reflect the image of God. Nagigets ninyo? Doon nanggagaling yung verse 40. Whatever you have done for these people, in a way, you have also done for me. Kaya yung idea na yan is, kung nagigets mo yung idea na yan, ang natural consequence niyan, patataasin talaga niyan yung malasakit mo sa ibang tao, especially when you love God. When you love God, then it follows automatic that you love the people around you. Nagigets ninyo? I-contrast natin yan sa worldly view of kapwa. Kasi kanina, lahat ng example ko dito, transcendental view. How you see others is the same as how God sees people that He created. Palitan mo yan in contrast to the worldly view of kapwa. Specifically, materialism and evolution na usong-uso ngayon in our popular culture. At marami mga tao ngayon, especially young people, ito yung frame of mind na ini-internalize. Anong ibig sabihin ng materialism? Walang spiritual world, walang Diyos. Everything is just material reality. Kaya ang ultimate good sa buhay is to acquire material things, enjoy material things. Evolution naman, ito yung idea na related sa materialism. Dahil walang Diyos na gumawa sa tao, lahat tayo nag-evolve lang from a simple organism. There's no need for a creator. May simple cell organism, millions of years, nag-iiba-iba yung conditions ng environment, and then from there, ganito na tayo. Okay? So yan yung dalawang frame of thinking, philosophies na usong-uso ngayon. Ngayon, kapag ganyan yung frame of thinking mo, naniniwala ka sa materialism and evolution, mag-iiba talaga yung pananaw mo sa tao. Ibang-iba sa Genesis 1:27. Right? So if you are under materialism and evolution, naniniwala ka na ang mga tao walang creator, hindi tayo ginawa ng Holy God, therefore we have no spirit, brain lang tayo, na kapag namatay yung katawan natin, that's it for us. We are equivalent to animals, after all, mga ancestors natin ng mga unggoy, ang mga bulate. And the ultimate goal in life is to eliminate our competitors. Because in the language of evolution, only the strong survive. Right? I remember one of the founding fathers of evolution, si Herbert Spencer, sinabi niya yan. Basahin niyo lang yung quotable quote niya. But basically, ang sinasabi niya dito is, the point of life is to be the fittest of all the organisms. Para hindi ka maging prey ng mga predators. Dapat ikaw yung predator. Ikaw yung maging apex predator. Kasi ikaw yung pinakamalakas. Ikaw yung pinaka-fit. So kapag may mga tao or organisms na mas mahina sa iyo, ang dapat mong gawin, i-eliminate mo na. Or kung meron kang nakitang mas malakas sa iyo, gumawa ka ng paraan para ma-eliminate siya para tumaas yung chance of survival mo. Ganon ang thinking ng mga evolutionists. And later on, Charles Darwin, sinabi rin niya yan, reflecting what Herbert Spencer said. Ano sabi ni Charles Darwin in this quotable quote? Dapat daw yung mga weak, yung mga mahihina, i-eliminate. Tanggalin. Huwag mong mahalin. Huwag mong tulungan. Tanggalin mo yung mga mahihina. Tanong, sino ba yung mga mahihina? In the worldview of Charles Darwin, nakalagay dyan, yung mga imbeciles, yung mga maimed, yung mga may sakit. Ang goal natin, kung sabi ni Darwin, kung gusto natin palakasin yung society natin, i-eliminate natin yung mga mahihina na yan. Huwag nating payagan na magparami sila. Bakit? Sabi dito sa quotable quote, injurious daw yan to the race of man. So it follows, in the Darwinian line of thinking, there's no place for love, there's no place for concern for these people. They have to go. They have to be eliminated. You know what I mean? Ayoko na lang gamitin yung word na yan. na nagsisimula sa letter K, pero that's what he meant. Just eliminate those people who are weak para hindi na sila magpakalat ng lahi nila kasi ikakahina yun ng society natin. Ganun mag-isip ang mga evolutionists, yung mga materialists. And later on, speaking of Darwin, yung ganyang thinking niya, inadapt yan ni Hitler. For those of you who love history, one of the things you have to know about Hitler is a fan of Charles Darwin. Marami siyang mga ideas ni Darwin na in-apply niya sa kanyang political ideology. This is a good book to read in connection to that, Hitler's Ethic. Pinapakita dito na talagang si Hitler, one of the reasons kaya niya ginawa yung mga bagay na ginawa niya against the Jews was his application of Darwinian ideas. Kasi naniniwala siya na ang German race ang pinakamataas na race, pinakamalakas, all the other races mahihina. Ano sinabi ni Darwin? Anong dapat gawin sa mga mahihina? I-eliminate. O kaya niya ginawa yan. Kaya sana at this point, nakikita nyo that one consequence of internalizing such ideas, materialism and evolution, papababain niya yung level of malasakit mo. If that's the way you see people. Going back to that slide, how do you see people? They have no creator, walang mga spirito yan, parang mga hayop lang yan, at mga competitors yan na dapat nating i-eliminate para tayo lang yung manalo. Kapag ganyan ang frame of mind mo sa mga tao, talagang bababa yung malasakit mo. No wonder Hitler can do those things to these people. Nagigets nyo? Yung connect niyan. Kaya mag-ingat din tayo sa mga ideology, sa mga ideas na ini-internalize natin kasi may mga psychological effects sa atin yan. And this is not a good effect, ha? Bumaba yung level of malasakit mo. 'Di ba? In-explain ko to sa previous lecture ko on malasakit. Kapag ang tao bumababa yung level of malasakit, doon na nanggagaling yung mga selfish/evil behaviors. You translate that in our everyday life. Kapag ang mga Pilipino naniwala kay Darwin, naniwala sa materialism, bumaba yung malasakit sa isa't isa, kaya tayo nagkaka-traffic. Anong connect nun? Paano? Lahat ng driver, ang goal is mauna. Yun yung equivalent ng survival of the fittest, no? In the language of driving, sinong mauna? Sinong pinakamagaling sumingit? O kaya lahat nagpapagalingang magsingitan, ano nangyayari? Traffic. Daming aksidente. Daming namamatay sa daan. Isama mo na rin dyan yung road rage. 'Di ba? Mainit ang ulo, competitor kita sa daan, may baril na ilalabas, gagamitin niya. 'Di ba? In the language of Charles Darwin, kaya mo kayang lokohin yung asawa mo. Kasi ang sabi sa evolution, one of the signs na malakas kang organism kapag napapakalat mo yung genes mo sa iba't ibang mga pamilya, sa iba't ibang mga mothers. Kaya para sa'yo, hindi mahalaga yung monogamy. Infidelity is not wrong in the language of Charles Darwin. Kasi ang infidelity, sign yan na malakas ka. Napapakalat mo yung genes mo sa iba't ibang mga mothers. Diba? And of course, in corruption, related din yan. Dahil, sabi nga ni Darwin and all the other evolutionists, the fittest ang nagsusurvive, gawin mo lahat para ikaw yung pinakamaging fit. In what way? Paramihan mo yung kwarta mo. Saan ba yung place na pinakamadaling kumuha ng maraming kwarta na hindi naman sa'yo? Sa government. Don't get me wrong, hindi ko naman sinasabing lahat ng tao sa government ganyan, no? But many people in the government applies that framework. I want to be the fittest, I want to survive, I want to eliminate my competitors, equals graft and corruption. Wala akong pakialam kung naghihirap kayo at sobrang yaman ko. In the first place, I work hard para mapunta sa ganitong estado, para mapunta ako sa isang government office. O, di ba? Yan ang epekto ng view ng materialism/evolutionism in contrast to the transcendental worldview. O kaya, meron din tayong scientific supports that show na kapag ina-apply mo sa buhay mo yung ideas ng materialism, hindi maganda sa mental health. Such as what's reported here in medical news today. Materialistic people more likely to be depressed and unsatisfied. Ang tanong, bakit? Kasi hindi nila natatrato ng maayos yung mga tao sa paligid nila. Ang problema, yung relationship natin with others is one important source of our well-being. Materialism shapes you to be selfish, destroys your relationship around you, makes you depressed. Nagigets ninyo? Ibang-iba talaga yung worldly concept of kapwa sa transcendental view of kapwa, which again, ito yung pinopromote natin in this lesson. Seeing others as God's imagers, when you see other people as sacred, it improves the way you treat them. Mas minamahal mo sila, mas nirerespeto mo sila. Mas tinatato mo sila ng tama. In general, tumataas yung level ng malasakit mo to other people, which will increase your overall well-being. Kasi ulitin ko, no, in psychological studies, isang mahalagang source ang relationships. Kaya nagiging okay tayo mentally. Paano mo palalakasin yung relationships mo with other people kapag nagpapakita ka ng malasakit sa mga tao sa paligid mo? And the only way na talagang genuinely tataas yung level ng malasakit mo to other people, magsimula ka makita na ang mga tao sa paligid mo are, again, created in the image of God. You need to see the resemblance of God in each of the people that you encounter in your everyday life. And I want to be more specific, specifically in Christianity. Ano ba kasi what does it mean? Or what are the specific ways that you treat other people? Because you see them in God's image, the following. Basahin nyo na lang din yung handbook on Christian psychology. No? Ito yung mga binigay na mga outcomes kung paano natin tinatrato yung mga tao sa paligid natin when we see them as God imagers. We treat them with love, forgiveness, mercy, equality, justice, altruism. All of this, nagpapalakas ang relationships natin with other people, gumaganda yung mental health. Ang layo-layo ng mga yan compared to if you see other people as, again, going back to that slide, ganyan. No creator, no spirit, equivalent to animals, they are your competitors to get rid of. So if you want to have a better mental health between this and this, sana ito yung piliin ninyo. Kaya in closing, ang application natin ngayon is i-adjust natin kung paano natin makita o tignan yung mga tao sa paligid natin. We have to see them as God imagers. We have to see the resemblance of God in the people that we meet. And in so doing, kapag ganun yung ginagawa natin, tumataas yung malasakit natin sa kanila, nagiging maganda yung relationship natin with them, which is good for our mental health. Pero ang problema dito, no, is, medyo mag-iiba ako ng topic dito but still connected, para ma-apply mo yan na ang mga tao gawa sa image of God, in the first place, dapat maniwala ka that there is God. Ang problema, hindi naman lahat ng tao naniniwala that there is God. Kaya ako, no, personally, sa tingin ko, mahirap i-apply ito kapag in the first place ang tao hindi naniniwalang may Diyos. Hindi nga siya naniniwalang may Diyos. Paano niya paniniwalaan yung Genesis 1:27? And if you are one of those people that you don't believe in a God, I challenge you to see the evidences. Yan. Para magsimula ka dito at mapunta ka dyan, ma-adjust mo yung view mo on human beings, you start here. See the different evidences, the different reasons, both philosophical and scientific, to believe why there is a God. Yan, para yan sa mga taong hindi naniniwala sa Diyos na nakikinig sa akin ngayon, no? After all, sinabi naman ng Biblia yan, no, in connection to if you want to see God, if you want to know if God is really real. Anong sinabi ng Diyos about that? You will seek me and find me when you search for me with all your heart. Kaya kung totoong magre-research ka lang, evaluate the evidences, good evidences to believe why there is a God. Ako naniniwala ako na ipapakita naman sa iyo ng Diyos yan. Okay? In fact, isama na rin natin yung mga doubters, yung mga agnostics. You're not really sure if there's a God or not. Dito, maganda tong simulan through this. You see the different evidences, evaluate ninyo yung evidences, sino ba talaga ang mas logical na paniwalaan? The idea that says there's no God, or the idea that says that there is God? And if you sincerely do your research, magiging honest ka lang sa sarili mo, I would predict, I would hypothesize na ang magiging conclusion mo is it makes more sense to believe that there is God. And from there, it will change the way you view other people, it will change the way you treat other people, which will improve your overall psychological condition. Yan. The more na ginagawa mo yan sa ibang mga tao, gumaganda ang relationships mo with them, nagiging maganda ang mental health. Alright? So yan ang ating lesson on Transcendental Kapwa. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, ilagay nyo lang dyan sa baba. Sana marami kayong natutunan. Until the next lecture, Sir Howard here. God bless everyone.